just a little, in the right kind of way, kids enjoy being scared. They don't find loud and horrific things fun. But if something gives off a vibe of the perfect proportion of creepiness, it will turn a child's head, and instead of triggering his uneasiness and cause him to back away, it instills in him a sense of adventure, so that he may find out for certain if there are really things from which to back away. Candle Cove did that for me. Maybe it was the weird puppets. Maybe it was the themes of the haunted cave. Murders, pirates, and skin-grinding skeletons. Maybe it was the weird camera and sound quality. Whatever it was, I was 5 years old in 1971 and caught the pilot one day while Mom was running out doing errands, and thus the dial was mine to turn. I came upon the show and was instantly hooked. I've been reading up recently, my curiosity reignited and my caution diminished about this theory that the show was just a weak signal static, and these rumors about the screaming episode that apparently earned the Laughing Stock and her crew an abrupt pull from the seas and the Channel 58 airwaves. I can tell you right now, it wasn't just dead air or snow. However, I can't confirm the existence of episode 2 to 12 because I didn't get a chance to see it. Or for that matter, any of the episodes in the second season. After all, they only aired once. This is the story of why I missed them. On Tuesday, September 21st, 1971, I came home from school in my mom's clunky Volkswagen. Since there was nothing particularly interesting in my mom's eyes, she would forfeit the television to me for an hour whilst she rode on her exercise bike in the basement. And of course, that day, just like several weeks leading up to it, the dial turned right to 58. Episode 6, Season 1, I would later find out was called Ship Crash. Appropriately enough, the premise involves Percy musing about the love song of the singing dolphins, and winds up falling at the helm of Laughing Stock, and apparently sheep steering, crashing her into a large jagged rock jutting out into the water's corners of the cove. The rest of the episode involves Janice and Poppy frantically trying to repair the ship before it sinks, all the while fighting sleep. Eventually, they spot a strange tree growing near the peak of the mountainous rock and decide it would make a great torch for distress beacons. So Janice goes to fetch it. On her journey, she begins to sleepwalk, which is how she became Susan Siren. Susan, like most other characters on the show, had a cheap, almost unintentionally strange design. She was not a puppet, but an actress, with her body and face painted a sea-greenish paler, her lips a vibrant orange to complement it. She was dressed rather well. Inappropriate for a children's show, her breasts only obscured by metallic brasserie, small chains serving as the straps. Her bottom piece was also fashioned this way, with a large chain attached to her iron panties and the rock behind her, meant to shackle her there. The top half of her head, including her eyes and nose, was concealed by a handpiece of old-fashioned to make her look cartoonish, but it always had a pale green skin, as well as orange hair and large spherical orange eyes to match the lipstick. Susan Siren explains to Janice that she was commended to Lullaby Rock centuries ago, when a fleet of ships almost crashed due to her hypnotic, sleep-inducing singing. Janice laments that she cannot free Susan, but promises to return to visit if Susan promised to lure another ship to the rock to rescue them. Susan agrees and sings a peaceful song about your hard work at sea and how it earns you a nap. That day I came home from school especially drained. I remember that much happening. What had happened in kindergarten that would leave a 5-year-old so exhausted is lost time. But I remember being so tired, so taking Susan's advice, I switched from a sitting position on the couch to laying on to let my heavy eyes sink, only seconds after my eyebrows made everything dark. I heard the song end, and Susan boasts to Janice, "Now watch this." My eyes fluttered open, eager to see what was happening. But there was something else. The room was white, as there were sheets on the bed I had apparently been tucked into. There was a silvery box machine surrounding me, beeping all the time. A little tube poked me in the arm and connected it to a hanging pouch of clear liquid. I wanted to touch it, but was afraid of the pain. I wanted to scream, but a large tube had been shoved in my mouth. I wanted to cry and struggle and kick down the walls, but I was too weak, so I settled for sobbing. After a few minutes of that, a woman walked in wearing a white dress and called for a doctor, who simply studied me. But he did call my mother, and after that I was unhooked from all those machines and latched onto her. Exchanging with her happier sobs, she sat me down to explain that I had been in a coma for nearly 2 years. So why is my curiosity only rekindled now? I suppose I never related it to the show. The doctors never gave a straight answer as to why this happened to me. So who else could have done this? I only started looking into it again about a week ago. Around a month after Mom's funeral, I was going through some of her tax receipts when I found an empty envelope from NASA dated December 29th, 1971, the kind of envelope it might arrive in.